Emmett Till's, what they call the Platinum Tour.
All right.
The mayor of Glendora, and I, want to talk a little bit about Emmett's story and how it come about, and if you played any part or come along during that time, and how the museum, come about, and what did you have to do to get the museum going? And
thank you all for Just Blues for coming to Glendora, Mississippi, and being part of our family here. As you see, we're a very small community, but very, very rich in history.
Yes, sir.
Especially regarding the human rights and violations and civil rights. We've continued to fight for that, and I'm going to say that is the inspiration for this museum.
And I realized that our people have to know what was going on back in the day to appreciate everything that we have now.
I guess we never had a full truth, but Tallahatchie River was one where they dropped it. And now the most recent one, that was my father that was narrating on the documentary that you were looking at, talking about the Black Bayou. He's the one that allegedly was with the culprits when they took the kid and brought him initially to Glendora and did initially beating on him, and ultimately dropping him in the Black Bayou, my father said, who was allegedly there. Of course, he said he wasn't.
He was probably
My father probably was there. If so, then that whole heinous crime actually started out of Glendora, and that's why we're calling it the birthplace of the healing that will begin here, because it started here premeditated. No doubt Jenny Mallon lived here in Glendora. He premeditated the whole thing because of the fact that his brother didn't even have a vehicle, so he couldn't even get around. So he had to call his brother, they had to get together, and his brother had to go and pick him up, and then they go and take the kid. So premeditation started here, modern civil rights started here, and it's fitting that we begin the healing from
information. Pantheress, would you like to say something? Or?
I'm just, learning everything from being here in Mississippi, and I thank y'all for having us here. And we learned a lot, and we, looked up a lot of things that was going on here. So being in here, learning the history and talking to Dr. Hare, it's just touching.
Yeah, it is, and just keep in mind that, and remember that we're blues people, and it's a story, and they say the greatest story has never been told.
I mean, it has some deep details, and it's real nice, and the whole town put an effort into giving you a tour of the different sites where these events happened to him, where he was taken, and they have a mock of the store and different things. I mean, it's really touching because I didn't know anything about it. And so as you can see in one of the clips, that it really got to me because I just couldn't understand how a human could do that to another human, especially a child, even though I knew things was going on back in the day. And it still makes you think about all the things that happened that we don't know about. That for some of you that know about Emmett Till, then you might have seen these pictures. But being that I hadn't seen it because I hadn't paid attention to, a lot of those things back in the day, because I just thought it was just so terrible, I didn't want to, deal with all that. Anyway, here's a picture of Emmet with his mom before he was captured and beaten to death and all that stuff. And here's a picture after, when he was in a coffin. And we also found out that after he passed away, when he was in a coffin, somebody went and poured acid all over his body. The 14-year-old, the events that happened to him and things like that. So we're out here in Glendora, Mississippi, And this is the bridge where they tied the 75-pound fan around his neck and dropped him over the bridge. So we're going to take a look at the bridge and things like that. So, sensitive story, but this is life and history of our people.
That they allegedly say, but then at other points you'll find that individuals say that he was actually thrown from here off this bridge. You know, even years and years after those cases and those crimes were committed, you still had individuals that were afraid to speak out and tell the truth about situations of that nature.
Anytime you're in the Mississippi area, you have to stop by Glendora, which is a small town with
Fearful type of thing. And we've not since, only having in the state of Mississippi 1 month of Black history. And, in the past, February, shortest month it was, that's when they gave us our history, Black history. That's all they allowed us to teach. But now the state of Mississippi have adopted a full annual curriculum. So Black history will be taught year-round. And we think definitely, and we know now, that they must come through here. And we intend to bring 1 million of them through here because this is the beginning of, and it's actually where their feet touch the ground where those things happen. The fan coming out of here, the burning of the kids' clothes right here at the first sign, the admission to Look magazine of what happened, the blood on the street, the dropping of the body. They come here, they actually sit and feel where the first torture began of the child, the first lick on it in Glendora.